He is saying that Democrats, if you have faith, saying if you have to, if you believe the way that he believes or the people he believes votes for him, then you wouldn't vote for a Democrat if you have faith. Here it is.
I don't know how a person of faith can vote for a Democrat. I really don't. And I know we have some here today, and I don't know why they're here, because they certainly don't give us their vote. I certainly know that we're not going to be convincing them to vote for a little thing called voter ID. It polls at 97%. And even the Democrat, the people, the voters, are at 82% for voter ID, but the leaders don't want to approve it. They said they will strike. They will not allow it to happen. It's polling at over 90%. It's called voter identification. When you go to the polls, you show, yes, my name is so-and-so, and I live in the country. I'm here. I can vote.
Can you just pause, please?
It's not allowed.
What the fuck does this have to do with a prayer breakfast?
All right, we're going to stop it right here. Donnell says, what the fuck does this have to do with a prayer breakfast? I will agree with him that the voter ID thing was definitely veering off topic, which Trump does frequently. So we could all agree to that. But you think what Trump said may have something to do with the delegates at the Democratic National Convention voting to not add God in their platform? Don't believe me? Watch for yourself.
And more big news is that President Obama personally intervening to change his party's platform, and the Democrats voting to amend or clarify the language in that platform. Now, the Democratic platform now mentions God and declares Jerusalem the capital of Israel.
A motion has been made. Is there a second? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the matter requires a two-thirds vote in the affirmative. All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the... Let me do that again. All of those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. I guess...
And then we gotta let them do what they're gonna do.
They don't want to
I'll do that one more time. All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, two-thirds have voted in the affirmative. The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on the screen. Thank you.
You see what happened right there? They're voting to either yes, leave God in there and something about Jerusalem being the capital, or no, don't leave God in there. The lady even has to get up there and let him know, hey, no matter what they say, just let them go ahead and say what they're going to say. But then after they're done, just affirm it either way, because she even knows that voting no for God is not a good look. It's a really bad look. Maybe that has something to do with his statement about not knowing how people of faith could vote for a Democrat. But I digress. Let's go on.
You people wonder why we're in such trouble, why there's so much division right now. It is because of him and the people who follow him and the people who believe him and the people who are in his cabinet. That is why we're in this mess that we're in right now. Hateful, divisive people condoning violence and condoning this. I imagine they go home and go, well, it was crazy. Can you believe he said this? He's really out of it. When is my paycheck? Is Thursday? Is my check here? I love living in this government housing and the American taxpayers paying my bills and my salary while I abuse and trample over their rights.
This level of lack of awareness is monumental. As Donnell is explaining why there is so much division and why we're in so much trouble, he then says it is because of him, meaning Trump, and the people that support him and those in his cabinet. Wow. So the country is $37 trillion in debt. There's massive fraud, waste, and abuse of tax dollars for over 30 years in every state. American blacks still feel passed up because their ancestors were promised something they were never given, and no one seems to care about doing anything meaningful about that. But we're in trouble because of Trump, his supporters, and those in his cabinet. Wow. And we're divided. Yes, we are divided in a lot of ways. We have one side saying, let's enforce all the rules. The other side saying, no, don't enforce the rules. One side is okay with tens of millions of illegal immigrants coming into low-income areas and driving down wages, the quality of educations, and a host of other things in these low-income areas, cities, urban areas, where all the job opportunities are at. And the other side of people are fighting to not allow it to happen. One side is fighting for more taxes. The other side is fighting to increase everyone's taxes. I mean, ask the black homeowners of Chicago how that's working out. I mean, the other side is saying things like eliminate taxes on tips, no taxes on crypto, property taxes should be eliminated. That's what the other side's saying. So yeah, there is a divide, but instead of discussing the divide on policy, what does Donnell do? He switches it to demonizing people as what did he said, hateful and divisive people that are condoning violence. And in doing this and demonizing this way, Donnell does the very thing that he says that the other people are doing to divide us. My only question when I hear this is, do his listeners hear what I heard? Because what I heard is someone say that the source of division in this country is the other person over there, and then proceeds to divide everyone himself. And he didn't even have the intelligence to do it by using major policies, at least as the basis of this. And was he trying to say that Democrats and liberal people don't live in government housing and don't get money from the tax dollars in some way, shape, or form? And these same Democrats and liberals are out there on the streets and online protesting the enforcement of laws that protect the rights of others. I mean, what about their rights? Oh, matter of fact, Donnell, how about the right to pray and to practice your religion without being interrupted? How about those rights that are being trampled on, Donnell? But I digress. Let's move on.
What MAGA wants to do is make it as difficult as possible for people to vote. For people who may not have IDs, for people who are not part of a sophisticated society, so to speak, people who don't drive, people who live in rural places from Louisiana, Appalachia, all over, who may not drive, who may not have an identification card. I don't think that is, to ask for some form of identification, I don't think that that is, that far out of the ordinary. But you have to remember, or what's reasonable, I should say, but not everybody has that. And there should be exceptions for the people, the few who don't, because we should be making the voting process as accessible as possible. That's what we should be doing, so that everybody can vote, of all different backgrounds, of all different ethnicities, from all different states, whether you live in an urban area or a rural area.
I'm a little confused on this one, and I don't even know where to begin. But aside from the making it difficult to vote, I mean, I don't even know what he meant when he said that some of the people aren't, sophisticated. What does that mean? What are you calling these people when you say they're not sophisticated? In his own statement, he says that it's a reasonable expectation to show ID to vote, but we should make exceptions for some people. What does that mean? So you want some people to show ID, some people not to show ID? Before you know it, you're making so many exceptions that there is no real clear rule. And guess what we have? We have what we have now. So we either make a rule or we don't make a rule. And who are these exceptions? He didn't say what the exceptions were. He just said there should be some exceptions. See, leave it real open. But he says it should be as accessible as possible. I mean, I think he's just making up statements at this point, because as far as I know, polling places are all over the place and they have long ass hours. And I could be wrong, but it could have even been Trump that said we should actually make Election Day a national holiday so everyone doesn't go to work and they don't have to go to school. That way they have the time and freedom to go vote without worrying about work or school. So how is it someone that's talking like that, at the same time you're saying that they're trying to make it as difficult as possible? And you can look this up for yourself. I'm 99% sure it was Trump himself that said people that are too poor to pay for a $10 ID card, that they would be given one for free. So now we're talking about an argument that says a free ID, polls open all day, polls located everywhere, and a national holiday so no one has to worry about work, school, any impact to their money. I mean, how much more accessible and easy could that be? But if you listen to Donnell, that whole packaged up thing that I just described is making it less accessible to people. I mean, gosh, get it together. Let's go on.
Are you out of your mind? You're the sleazebag. Donald Trump, you are a sleazebag. You are the definition of a sleazebag. Adultery is one of the sins that you're not supposed to commit. That's one of the 10 commandments, and you did it. You're a sleazebag. You were convicted. You're a criminal. All kinds of, you're fraudulent. And you have the nerve to go, he called Jared Polis a sleazebag. He called me a sleazebag. He called somebody else a sleazebag. I forget. It's like, are you talking about, it's like the kid thing. You're talking about yourself. This is a sick man. This is a sick man.
Now I'm gonna stop right here because this fool done brought up the damn 10 commandments. Now we have Donnell bringing up the Bible and 10 commandments and sins, which is crazy because everybody, including Donnell himself, knows that he has no place to even bring up the Bible unless it's to repent for his own sin and ask to be born again. Because regardless of how I feel or anyone else feels about Christianity and the Bible, it absolutely says that men laying with other men is a sin. And a matter of fact, it goes even further by specifically saying doing that is an abomination. Now, I'm not a biblical scholar, so I'm not sure if that makes it the same as all other sins, but I do know God made a point to say living that lifestyle is an abomination. And that's all I got to say. And we're going to stop right here. Everybody, peace out.